Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. It's still dark out there. Daylight's coming slowly, daylight savings time. It's dark when it should be daylight because it's not the real time. But anyway, that's another argument. A name of honor established in 1830, mellowed 4 years in oak barrels. Bellows, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And it has to be charred oak, never before used charred oak. Kind of a simple label. It's like yellowish. Now it's like a linen color, and in the background, the yellow makes up a pen and ink type drawing of a distillery, but you can't see it on this. Then there's a W.B. William Bellows. It's bottled in St. Louis. It's Kentucky, but it's bottled in St. Louis. I forgot to put that in the notes. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I would like to have it more exact. I've drunk about 30% of this. Amber color. The competitor, George Dickel, Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey. Distilled and charcoal mellowed at George A. Dickel and Company, Tullahoma, Tennessee. Aged 3 years. Cascade Hollow Distillery. I noticed it doesn't say Tennessee Straight Whiskey. It just says Sour Mash Whiskey. So it might be aged in used barrels since it doesn't say straight whiskey. Makes you wonder. It's not being produced at this time. Okay, CH Cascade Hollow. So we know that this one, the Bellows, is aged in new charred oak barrels because it's straight bourbon whiskey, and it's aged 4 years because there's an age statement. We know this. Who does it for them? I know that Luxco built, because they own the Bellows brand today. Luxco built a distillery in Kentucky, opened one, but I don't know if they have the capacity to keep up with their fairly large portfolio. Probably it's contract distilled by who knows? Maybe Beam, because Beam Suntory used to own the Bellows brand till about 5 years ago. Okay, it doesn't really matter, but it's one of those, it's either Heaven Hill or Sazerac or Beam, probably. We don't really know. Okay, I figured this challenge is going to be pretty even. Although I think the Dickel is going to present a little bit more unusual aromas and flavors, kind of a pungent and soury. Good morning, Jay, says Maxwell. Good morning to you, Maxwell. Thanks for watching. Kind of a soury taste from the sour mash. And now that I'm thinking about it, being that it's not a straight whiskey, that could be affecting it also. Never noticed that before. Now, if it's not straight whiskey, can they add color into it? Yes, they can. Can they add flavoring to it, like sherry, blending sherry? Yes, and they don't have to disclose it either. So think about that. Still don't have the level right. Dang. And it's heavier too. Or too much Bellows, doggone it. I could just sip it down, but then I would know the taste. Okay, that should work. And if it doesn't work, that's it. I'm not doing anymore. All right. Well, the appearance, I think the Dickel is darker, more amber. This is more gold. It isn't any kind of grave difference or profound difference, but there is a difference. So the Bellows is a little lighter, which is even more suspicious because the Dickel's aged 3 years. The Bellows got a year extra on it, but it's lighter. Well. How about that? I want to be careful. I want to be careful not to glance because I think looking at it could give it away. Actually, it's a little darker, and I want to be accurate. Dickel was $8.99 for the liter bottle. $8.99 for 1 liter. Is that a normal price? No. Or is it likely that you'll find that price? No, it isn't. But I'm going by what I paid. The Bellows, I paid $6.99 for a liter. Unusually low price. Is there a good chance you'll find it for that price? I don't even know if you can find the doggone stuff. It's kind of rare. But you might say, I live in Missouri. It's everywhere. And I mean, I did find it, right? All in Jefferson Parish. I bought a bottle at Savannah Discount. The blended, I bought a bottle at, no. I bought the straight whiskey, Kentucky bourbon whiskey at Savannah Discount. I bought the Bellows blended and the Bellows Club whiskey, which is also blended at International Market on the East Bank of Jefferson Parish. So, I mean, it's around. I bought it. But $6.99 for a liter at Savannah Discount. Now, for the blended liters, they're both liters. I paid $8.99 a piece. Paid more for the blended than the straight, but that's the way it worked out. The aroma here is just, it's stereotypical whiskey. Pungent, alcohol, grains, not a lot of wood, not a lot of char, if any. Little vanilla, though. I guess that's from the wood. Oh, I guess it smells like a sort of cheap bourbon. 80 proof. They're both 80 proof. But it is cheap. $6.99 for. So your question could be: can a person find a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey at least 4 years old for an extraordinarily low price? Yes, I did. Less than $7 for a whole liter. And I found through experience that the lowest of the low straight bourbons, they're still good. Not great, but good, because they have those quality control laws. I don't support regulations like that, but they have these requirements that make it almost virtually guaranteed to be good. It has to be aged in new charred oak barrels. Has to be aged at least 2 years. Can't have coloring added. Can't have flavoring added. So it's sort of a pure product. And I think that gives it even the lowest threshold is still good. So straight bourbon might be the way to go if you want to make sure you're getting a quality product at a minimal price. You get to the blended, all bets are off. You can get some really strange things there. And for the same price, no cheaper, right? No cheaper. Say, well, why do people buy blended? Well, some people find bourbon is harsh. They don't like it. They rather go with blended, which smooths it out, dulls it out, if you ask me. And in many cases, weirds it out. You say weirds it out. Yeah, it makes it really weird, strange, unusual, odd, like Kentucky Gold from Heaven Hill. I see it around in Baton Rouge, so I know people are buying it. Why? I do not know, but they're buying it. You say, heck, they're mixing it. Yeah, I know they are. They ain't drinking that straight. I don't believe it. This smells kind of soury, like a bagel. You say, well, then it's the sour mash, George Dickel. I think it is Tennessee whiskey. Can't say, though. I hadn't tasted it, but I get the feeling it is. Let's go with the taste. Cheers to you all. It's kind of an unusual flavor. That one's the one that tastes like a bagel, sourdough bagel. It doesn't really taste like that, but I don't know how else to describe it. It tastes like sour mash Tennessee whiskey, which is hard to describe. Jack Daniel's has a stronger wood note, charred oak, but it is aged a year longer. And Jack Daniel's is straight Tennessee whiskey, which means new oak barrels. This does not say straight. I'm really starting to believe it's used barrels. You say, wow, Dickel really went cheap on that one. That's right. Their mainline whiskey used to be a cheapo. It was called Cascade whiskey up until 1964. Well, you know, it's just some cheap Tennessee whiskey for people to buy. I think it was 3 years age. I think it was 86.6 proof. I was looking at the old ads. I don't think it was straight whiskey either, so probably used barrel. Hey, well, they made money off of it. I don't say they made a lot of money. They just made some money. They sort of rebranded in 1964 and tried to step up their game into more better with the George Dickel 8 and the George Dickel 12. So I think you do a lot better with those. I have to try the number 12. I got some unopened bottle of it. When I tell you what I paid for that, you'd be mind boggled. I'm getting more wood, charred oak. There's even a wine note like sherry, cocktail sherry. You say, no. I'm saying, yeah, it's weird. Doesn't have that odd green wood or cellar mold that the Jim Beam has. Jim Beam is a 4-year aged Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, just like the Bellows. It's unique. I like it, but to me, it's strange. I didn't see Mila Kunis talking about cellar mold on her videos. James P. Madonna said, oh, you talking about that model girl, that model woman that looked like she's drugged up when she does the, like she's high when she does the videos? I said, well, okay. And I was thinking, James, now that you mention it, but anyway, I think that series ended. All right. Almost knocked it off the table. Ooh, that'd have been bad. Man, this aroma is, what is that smell? It's a nose full. It's got a strong nose. If you want a whiskey with a strong aroma, make you jump back, this could be it. That's got to be the Dickel because it just tastes strange. Furthermore, it doesn't really taste like a 4-year age straight bourbon. It tastes like what it is. A 3-year age sour mash Tennessee whiskey, not even a straight whiskey. It's an unusual little fellow. Do I regret paying $8.99 for the liter? No, I don't. It's still scored in the A range, A. 93, you say that's too high. Well, probably, but maybe, but I don't know. It's just, I don't think unique means bad. I don't think unusual means bad. I don't think strange means bad. It could actually be excellent, but it is. But if someone wanted to come at me and charge me with scoring it too high and challenge me, I wouldn't take issue with that, really. I could see where they're coming from, you know. So I could understand it. All right. But I do prefer the Bellows Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Do I prefer Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey to Tennessee sour mash straight whiskey, or unstraight crooked? I think I do, but it's so minimal, the preference level, that it's really not even worth mentioning, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to call it, I think this is the Bellows, and I think it's a little bit better. I'd go about 94 on this one. Wouldn't go too high, wouldn't overplay it, but it's a great bargain. If you ever see it for $6.99, buy it. A whole liter for $6.99, crazy, man. But if you see it, it'll probably be more like $12.99. But I mean, I wasn't passing hand up. So I'm going to call it, this better say, it better not say CH, because CH is Cascade Hollow, and then I'll feel so depressed. I mean, depressed in the context of the video, not in real life. But, you know, I hate to get them wrong. That's the thing. And it's a game. It doesn't say CH. This is the CH. Like I said, Cascade Hollow. It had that strangeness to it. Well, what have we learned by these taste challenges? I think I'm learning that the George Dickel Cascade Hollow Sour Mash Tennessee Whiskey is a strange animal. It doesn't really taste like anything I ever tasted before. That doesn't get exemplified until you do the taste challenges. When you do it in isolation, when you drink them in isolation, it's a different experience. And you might drink something in isolation and say, "Well, this is really good. It's got such and such characteristics, etc." But then when you put it in taste challenges, I'm spinning my finger like that because it spins your whole perception of it. And it can spin it in a bad way, like the Bellows Club Whiskey. On its own, it tasted good. And I was remarking, go look at those solo. I was giving the good marks. But once I put the Club Whiskey in taste challenges, it was a disaster. It brought out so many bad characteristics that I can almost not bear to say the word. Every time I think of the word Club Whiskey, it brings out those nasty characteristics of it. And I've got almost the whole liter left to drink. So very unpleasant. And I saw it at a Chinese restaurant. You say, well, you'd need all those rich sauces and all to drown the taste. Yeah, and a good bunch of bitters and sugar and everything. Simple syrup. Get the taste out of my mouth. And lime and ginger and everything else. Hey, Ron, I hope you have a great day, says Justin Hopkins. I hope you do too. I hope I can pass easily. It's high, but I waited 10 days. But it was kind of dry mostly, but it did rain. But it'll be fine. The next time I'll only wait 9 days. I've been getting away with going over 7. It hasn't been growing in leaps and bounds and putting it on the lowest setting. Doesn't hurt the yard. That grass is so resilient. That soil is so rich, the alluvial soil. So, I mean, you know, I don't even fertilize it and be green as Anne of Green Gables. You know what I'm saying? It'll be green as a Crayola green. Boy, that's a strange product. Boy, that's just a normal, regular old bourbon whiskey. It's on par with that Heaven Hill. I think I was about to say John Bell, the governor. John Anile let me try the Heaven Hill green label he got a hold of. I think it's 4-year age. There's a 6-year too. But I said, yeah, it was really nice. You know, it was like this, very on par, like saying, well, he didn't pay $6.99 for a liter. I know that much, but he didn't pay too much. And yeah, they're like on the same level. The Cascade Hollow, I don't know what to say, really. I would say that it's worth checking out, though, really. Just check it out. It's out of production, but you may stumble upon it. I did last year. So everything one thing I've said in beer, especially beer reviews, is that everything doesn't have to be like everything else. I'm happy I'm off today. Oh, that sounds good. People get this mindset that every beer has to be like every other beer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm drinking a blonde ale, so they all have to be the same. And I'm drinking an IPA, and they all have to be. I'm not saying everybody. A lot of people like all these divergencies, but some people get fixated on these. Everything got to be. Like if it's unusual, they'll equate it with bad. Well, it's unusual, so it's bad. And that could be the case many times, but I don't even think it's the case most of the time. It can just be unusual. Then you evaluate it, you know, and then the final assessment, is it good? And then I think most of the time you'll say, you know what? It is good. It's strange. It may fit the category. It's not like any of the others in the category, but it's good. So and plus it adds spice to life, you know. You know what I mean? It gives it adds interest to the beer, wine, and liquor reviews. If everything was the same, it'd get pretty boring, wouldn't it? It'd get very, very boring. And I think that's why a lot of people start up their video channel and they drop off. They're like, hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I got all these interesting graphics and sound effects, and I'm going to do all these fantastic things. And they get me interested. And oh yeah, it's highly edited and it's fabulous, you know. And then it goes on for a little bit. Then it stops coming out so regularly. Next thing you know, it's gone with the wind. I've seen a lot of that over the last 10 years. Here today, gone tomorrow, a bit more or less. And some really good channels, I thought. And some of the really bad channels are still around. I'm not going to name the ones. There's some I don't like. I don't watch them. No big deal. I just don't watch them. I don't worry about it. I just don't. They don't stick to the topic. That's the main problem I have. Or they're not educated and they don't try to be. You know what I'm saying? They'll say, oh, I don't know what this style is about. I don't know anything about this beer. I don't know the ABV. I don't know the IBUs. I don't know. Well, you don't know anything, but you never researched it. You could spend a little time finding out something about the product. And they just always do that. So to me, I say they're being lazy, you know. Plus, they just do a terrible job. And they don't focus, but mainly that revolves around them not focusing on the product. Talking about any and every sundry topic, you know. Fixation on GMOs. Like you could hear 35 minutes of GMO in maybe 5 minutes of the beer in a 40-minute video. You could have done that rant once and we get it. Okay, we get it. But it's every video. The same thing. All right. I'm confused why you do some people call you Jay. I thought your name was wrong. Yeah, that's my middle initial. So it's a nickname. Ronald J. So they say Jay. They call me Jay. It's a nickname. But it's the same guy, guys. All right. Well, so this one really wasn't actually very big of it. It wasn't much of a challenge. Right off the bat, I knew that the Dickel was the Dickel and the Bellows was the Bellows. What's coming up in 2 days? Well, I'm planning to do Dickel versus Stedman Select. It's a 3-year age like the Dickel, but it's Kentucky straight bourbon and it's sour mash. So that's going to be an even thing, kind of. That's going to bring it on an even level in that aspect. But it's 86 proof, whereas the Dickel's 80. So I don't think it's going to really be much of a challenge. And furthermore, I think the Stedman Select, which is 1946, I saw that day before yesterday at Walmart. $19.46 for a 1,750 milliliter bottle. Crazy. I think it's going to win. And I don't think it's going to really be that close of a contest. So I would expect in 2 days that the Stedman Select is going to come in here and win. It's a Sazerac product. It's just a better, is it a great Kentucky bourbon whiskey? Come on, it's great for $19.46 a handle. Nice glass bottle though. No, it isn't great, but it's very competent, and it's going to whip up on this strange thing here. Now, the last challenge, Saturday, is going to really be a fiasco. I'm going to do it just to be doing it. Now, if you want to say I'm skipping it because it's not going to be worthwhile to watch, I wouldn't argue with that. I mean, I couldn't recommend watching it. Although I'm the kind of person, I might be like you. I have this perverse interest in things like watching taste challenges that are no kind of challenge. And it's going to be George Dickel Cascade Hollow versus Blanton Single Barrel. Well, you say, oh, no. That's a $60 bottle. Yeah, I can get a 56 here. But yeah, basic in some states is $100, which is far too high. I know the markup is I see, I listen. When I'm in a store, I'll act nonchalant, like I'm paying attention to nothing, like I'm listening to nothing but listening to everything. And I heard someone say that the cost was $42. That was the store's cost. Now, if he's marking it up to 60, now he's making 18 bucks. Oh, 56, he's making 14 bucks a bottle. That's a good markup. But if they're buying it for $42 and marking it up to 100, whoa, somebody's getting a railroad. You know what I mean? Somebody's getting a ride, and it's a bad ride. And I believe it. And I think those kind of things go on all day long. But I think that's going to be a bad. Now, after Saturday, we're going to go back into blended whiskey for bad or ill, and mostly ill. And it's going to be the J.W. Dance Charcoal Perfected American Blended Whiskey, aged at least 4 years. Well, could be something. There's 2 video reviews for it. I've not watched them. So I'm going to do a solo review and not live, and then post it at some point, and then do the taste challenges. I don't expect much. It's probably going to be some junk. You know, I paid $6.49 for the $7.50. It'll probably be junk. But anyway, I can't say that because I hadn't tried it yet. But I'm going to. And then I'm going to go against everything and see what happens. And then I'm excited because then finally, after over a year, it's going to be Crown Royal Bourbon Mash, a.k.a. Blender's Mash. And I'm very excited about that. And when I mentioned it Sunday, my friend David started rolling his eyes and making faces. I said, oh, whoa. He said, it ain't that good. But then he doesn't like Canadian whiskey, and so he's very prejudicial against it. Oh, I got that. Oh, I got you. That's cool. Okay. So, yes, that's a nickname. So thanks for watching this. I have a lot of exciting taste challenges coming up. And so onward and upward. Thanks, you all.